Hi everyone, welcome to the first official episode of Tea and Talk with me, Mike Farish, with Every Helder Realtors and Blair Meadow with Republic Title. Today we are talking about upfront costs that a buyer will incur through the transaction on the sale of a property. So the first cost they'll incur is called the option fee, and this fee is negotiable and typically between $150 to $250 if it's not in multiple offers, and anywhere up to $1,000 if it is in a strong multiple offers situation. Now, what the option fee gives you is a period of days for you to go in and negotiate on repairs. So typically that period of days is between 7 and 10 for you to go in and do an inspection and then negotiate on the repairs with the seller. Now, the option period allows you to terminate on the contract if you can't negotiate with the seller on the repairs, and you get the unrestricted right to terminate on the contract. You would lose your option money, so the $250, but you would get back your earnest money, which is what Blair is about to talk about.
So earnest money, that is another check that the buyer writes upon the execution of the contract. So while the option fee may be due to the seller within 3 days, at this time, the earnest money is technically due upon the execution. So the check is written, made payable to the title company, and we actually do deposit that check upon receipt. A lot of buyers tend to be surprised when they actually see that that check has cleared their account because they think that it's just being held by the title company when we are in fact depositing it into a non-interest bearing account. And then upon closing, that amount will be credited back to the buyer on their final closing disclosure, settlement statement, HUD-1 statement, depending on what type of closing you are in. And those funds do automatically get credited back towards their overall cash to close.
Okay, so the only other fee you'll incur throughout the process is the inspection fee. So that's during the option period. You'll hire an inspector to go out and they'll check the whole property. And inspections can run anywhere from typically $350 to $600 is about average, and it depends on the square footage of the house and what type of inspection is required. So for instance, on a VA loan, a termite inspection is required, and that's an additional cost on the inspection. The only other fee you'll see, and you'll see this when you get to closing, is the appraisal. And the appraisal is what is required by a lender. So if you're a cash deal, typically you don't have to worry about this. With the lender and you're financing a deal, there'll be an appraisal fee there from the lender, and that's typically about $500, but that goes as part of your closing costs. So that's pretty much it. That's more or less all the upfront fees and costs you'll receive through a transaction. And that's more or less it for Tea and Talk with Mike and Blair.
Thank you for joining us.
It's a wrap. Tally ho.